Good evening. You're listening to Night Frequency. I'm Ben. If you're new here, this isn't a show about ghosts. Not exactly. This is a place for stories people didn't plan on telling. Moments that followed them home. Memories that don't stay in the past. Most nights, the calls come from places you've heard of. Big cities, apartment buildings, highways that never really sleep. Tonight, it didn't. The voice you're about to hear comes from somewhere quieter, somewhere you don't expect anything to happen. And that's usually when it does. Before we go any further, I want to say this clearly. Nothing in this call was rehearsed. Nothing was edited for drama. What you'll hear happened the way it's remembered. And sometimes, that's worse. Pete, you're on the line.
Yeah, I'm here. So, I've never done anything like this before, so just tell me if I'm doing it wrong.
There's no wrong way. Just start wherever it makes sense to you.
Okay. I guess the easiest place to start is that nothing was wrong. Not in the way people expect, anyway. There's this stretch of road I used to take every week. No name, no lights after midnight. Just asphalt, trees, and the sound of your own engine.
Routine can do that.
Yeah, exactly. There's this stretch of road I used to take every week. No name, no lights after midnight. Just asphalt, trees, and the sound of your own engine. The first time it happened, I didn't even stop the car. Because at that point, it wasn't a story yet. It was just something off. I remember checking the time. 1:17 a.m. That stuck with me, because it felt later. Much later.
Why did you check the time?
Because I felt like I had already been driving for hours. But when I looked at the dashboard, the numbers didn't match how my body felt. That's when I noticed the silence. Not quiet. Silence. No insects, no wind. Even my engine sounded distant, like it was happening in another car. I remember thinking, this is what it feels like when something breaks. Not the car, something else. And then I saw the lights. They weren't headlights. That's the first thing I need to say. Because that's what your brain wants them to be. Another car, someone else on the road. But these lights, they weren't moving toward me. They were just there. Off to the side of the road, too far back in the trees to be a building, too steady to be a vehicle. Just a soft white glow sitting between the trunks like it had always been there. I slowed down without realizing it. Not slammed the brakes, just eased off the accelerator. My foot knew before my head did.
Did it feel intentional? Slowing down?
No. That's the part that bothers me. It felt automatic. Like when you reach to turn down the radio during a song you don't like. You don't debate it. You just do it. As I got closer, the light didn't change. And then, my GPS reset. Screen went black. Came back on. Same route, same destination. But the ETA jumped. By 40 minutes. Didn't flicker. Didn't grow brighter. It didn't react to me at all.
Without a reroute?
Yeah. No explanation. No warning, just arrival time updated. I remember laughing, actually laughing out loud, because what else do you do when something doesn't make sense but also isn't scary yet? I told myself I'd missed the turn, or the signal had dropped earlier. Normal reasons. That's important, because at that point I was still protecting reality. Then I passed the lights. Or I thought I did. I kept driving. Trees blurred past, roads stayed straight, but when I checked my mirrors, the lights were still there. Same distance, same position, like I hadn't moved at all.
You're sure you weren't looping back?
I checked the markers, kilometer posts, cracks in the road, a dead sign leaning left at the shoulder. They changed. The road moved forward, but the lights didn't fall behind. That's when I felt it in my chest. Not panic. Pressure. Like the air had weight. I rolled down the window. I don't know why. Maybe I expected sound to come back. Nothing did. No wind, no insects. Even my engine sounded distant, like it was happening in another car. I remember thinking, this is what it feels like when something breaks. Not the car, something else. Then the lights shifted. Not closer, not farther. They tilted, like something inside the trees had turned its head. That's when I stopped the car. I stopped the car in the middle of the road. Not slammed, not panicked, just eased it to a halt. I remember thinking, okay, this is where I prove it's nothing. Because if you stop and nothing happens, then it's just nerves, right? I put the car in park. The engine kept running. The lights in the trees stayed exactly where they were. That's when I did something stupid. I opened the door. The moment my foot touched the road, the hum stopped. Not faded. Stopped. Like someone had turned off a switch.
Complete silence?
Too complete. No bugs, no leaves, no engine noise, even though the car was still on. I could hear my own breathing like it was inside my skull. I stood there for maybe 5 seconds, maybe longer. Time didn't feel stacked correctly. I waved my hand in front of my face. Then I spoke, just to hear something. Hello? My voice came out wrong. Flat. Like it didn't echo because there was nothing for it to hit. Then, the lights flickered. Just once. Not like electricity failing. More like an eyelid blinking. And suddenly, I knew I wasn't supposed to get out of the car.
You felt warned.
No. Worse. I felt noticed. Like I'd broken a rule I was never told. The trees didn't move, but the space between them felt tighter, like the forest had leaned in without actually moving. I got back in the car, slowly. Didn't slam the door, didn't rush, because somewhere in my head, a voice said, if you hurry, it'll hurry too. The second the door closed, the hum came back. The engine sound snapped into place. The night breathed again. I sat there, hands on the wheel, shaking, not visibly, inside. So I did what people always do when they're scared, but still pretending they're in control. I tested reality.
How?
I checked my phone. No signal. Then full bars. Then no service again. Clock said 1:17 a.m. I counted to 10. Looked again. Still 1:17. Radio wouldn't turn on. Not static. Nothing. Just dead air. I turned on the hazard lights. Got out again. Just the door this time. The blinkers didn't reflect off the trees. No flashes. No orange glow. It was like the light refused to touch anything beyond the road. That's when I realized something else. The lights in the trees. They weren't lighting the forest. The forest was framing them.
Framing how?
Like a stage. Like whatever was there wanted to be seen, but only on its terms. I whispered, I'm leaving. I don't know who I was talking to, but I said it. Out loud. The lights dimmed. Just a little. Enough to feel like approval. I put the car in drive. Didn't look at the mirrors. Didn't look at the trees. I pressed the accelerator, and the road finally let me go. But even as the darkness swallowed the lights, I knew this wasn't over, because something had learned my shape. I kept driving, didn't check the mirrors, didn't slow down, just focused on the white lines like they were the only thing holding the road together. I told myself, if it's behind me, it stays behind me. That was the rule I made up. The GPS came back. Full brightness, clear route, normal ETA again. Like nothing had happened. That scared me more than when it was broken. Why? Because it meant the road agreed. Agreed that I was leaving. And agreement implies awareness. A few minutes passed, maybe 10. The forest thinned out. Streetlights came back. I could see houses again. Real ones. With fences, with laundry hanging. Pause. Normal life. And I started to breathe.